So we've been going through the 10 Commandments, and you might remember that all of the commandments that we study are pointing back to the first commandment that you should fear, love, and trust God above all things. Now you might remember the first 3 commandments are all about how God is using our relationship with Him to honor Him. And these next 7 are all about how we are using, God is using the relationship with the community around us to bless the world. So last week we talked about honoring your father and mother and those in authority over you, and that will bless the world around you. And today, this is probably one that is going to bless the world around you too. It's, you shall not murder. Well, that's great. Hey, don't kill anybody, all right? The end. No, I'm just kidding, but here's the thing. If I were to ask you this question, how many murders have you committed today? What would your answer be? Well, I would hope that you would say something like, I haven't killed anybody today, Pastor Bill, and that's a good thing. But here in this story of Jesus speaking in the Sermon on the Mount, he says this, that anyone who hates in his heart commits murder. Anyone who insults or defames or dishonors someone in their heart commits murder. So now if I were to ask you the same question, how many of you have hated someone in your heart? How many of you have spoken insult or injured someone in your mind? How many murders have you committed today? And see, that's tough, because in the catechism we hear that you shall not murder means we should fear, love, and trust God so that we do not hurt or harm our neighbor in any way. But we should help support him in every physical need. See, there are 2 pieces to you shall not murder. First piece is you should not harm your neighbor in your mind or in actuality. But there's another piece to that too, that you should help him in every physical way. If you see someone on the side of the road who needs food, you should help him and feed him. If you see someone who is cold and needs a coat, you should get him a coat. And see, in this way, God is using the church to bless the people around it. Can you imagine what kind of world this would be if there was a whole group of people that looked completely different from everybody else? There was a whole group of people who refused to hate some people, to refuse to hate people. Can you imagine if there was a group of people that was unlike everybody else who refused to let people be cold or hungry or lonely? See, you have been called by God not just to not murder, but to meet needs, to meet physical needs. So my question for you today is this: how can you start changing the way you think so that you are not hating people? And how can you start changing the way you think to see the needs of people around you that you can meet?